The German. 120.
And pretty soon it comes around and it's okay.
Good evening. Welcome to the September 2022 Omaha Astronomical Society meeting. Labor Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Take out a moment for the talk about the meeting. If you have headphones, please use them. Remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Speakers can, a space bar can act as a push to talk. If you do not want to be seen, you can mute your video. Final motion, members, please unmute. Do we have any guests on Zoom at the moment?
And so.
John Poole's wearing a pirate's hat. That's how it's close. How about guests in the room? Oh, yes.
My name is George Zepsick.
Hi, George. Welcome. How did you hear about us?
I've been for years watching you guys and I try to get meetings, I miss them. But I've been interested in building a telescope for years. I found myself a lens. And now I have a lens, but I need the expertise to put it together. I've got the technical ability to build it. I just need the expertise for other parts.
Okay. Cool. Want to do that already? Yeah.
So I'm looking for somebody who will give me some mentoring on that part.
Okay, great.
Hi, John. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, welcome. And over here?
My name is Gary Gerber. I've known about the club for a long time, but haven't done anything. My background's really in photography. I owned a photography studio and had a wildlife business, and I'd like to start doing some astrophotography. So I thought people in this room could probably teach me things I don't know and get me to leave my house after dark.
Safety in numbers, is that right? Well, welcome. Yes, there is a whole bunch of astrophotography people in the club. Many of them have been on Discord actually posting their pictures. Like, I was just at an astro park last night, and then they'll throw up a few pictures, and it's a lot of fun. So welcome. Anyone else? Well, as a member, you will receive the Astronomical League's quarterly newsletter, the magazine, The Reflector. You'll get access to Astro Park near Weeping Water. So it's a private site. If you want to take pictures, there's a copy of The Reflector right there. We do have a telescope loan program where you can try out a telescope, observe and experience the different types of scopes. We have our monthly newsletter, The Stella, which has all the announcements, meeting information. There are some articles and other things in there as well. It's a good resource. You heard me mention the Discord server, and members can even vote in the business meeting. Take a moment here to
Way down.
past member George, who passed away recently.
August 10th.
August 10th. His internment was about a week ago. Services for him. George has was in the club for a very long time. Was in the 60s.
Past president.
Past president.
Couple different times.
Yeah. He was a driving force for getting Astro Park, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see, did we do at least a couple mid-states when he was?
Yes.
We did a national, that was before I was really involved in much, but did a national astronomical league convention. And then it was actually over at Southwest Community College in Iowa, which he cut some flack over. Because it wasn't, but it was a well-attended. That was probably the first time I met John Dobson. And
Oh, that's right. He was at that one.
he was there, and Don Parker, another level of astrophotography guy way back when We're still using film.
Oh, wow.
George ran that.
I remember he brought in a cassette once of the John.
Oh,
Dobson
John
talking.
Dobson's talks, yeah.
Yeah. His wife Jody is in the council club, correct? It was a very nice ceremony, both the service and the internment. No one's gonna be able to fill his shoes.
No.
A remarkable individual, and he will be missed. Let's review our schedule. Oh, I still have spring, summer written on there. I should probably change that. I thought I did earlier today. Well, oh well. Yep, so next month we have October 7th, November 4th. The holiday party, December 2nd, is gonna be again out at the farm. So that'll be, it was very nice last year, worked out really well, and
You'll have a concert.
I think we'll do the same thing this time around. So that information is just current as of yesterday, so.
Is the concert that night?
Uh-oh. Which concert?
When the,
Symphony?
Cathedral.
yeah,
Christmas at the cathedral.
Oh, yes. Train somebody else.
Yeah,
Right.
I just, I told him I'll retire.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll go over like that.
So October, November will be in here. That one will be at the farm. There'll be corrections and everything in the forthcoming Stellas. There are some important dates coming up. And some of this is going to be covered in outreach coming up. Lake Zurinsky, Astronomy in the Parks on the 13th. The PLB outreach is currently ongoing until the end of October. More information on the outreach position. I just want to say, please help on that. October 7th, the OAS officer election. October 8th is the 60th anniversary dinner. You probably saw those around the room. Saturday, October 22nd. This is fresh. This is new. There's a star party at Astro Park on October 22nd. That's new moon. Sun sets around 6:30-ish. So we figured we'd start at 4:30 and cook up some of the stuff that we've got. There are MISRO, we are a part of the Mid-States region of the Astronomical League. They have a mailing list. So that's that information there. It's in groups.io. It varies in the amount of posts that happen. We're also a member of the Night Sky Network. So if you want to see about other clubs in the area or see what we're doing on there, that is available. Do we have anybody use Astor Park in the last August month? Bill. So the people I checked
Last meeting.
since, well, you were there yesterday, right? I'll count it.
I've used it a couple times in August.
That would be 2 times for me.
2 times. John, you were a couple times, right?
Yeah, I can't remember how many times. I think it might have been 3 or 4.
Wow. So it's, I'm gonna say 10. I counted 5 in the logbook, so.
And I also had one visit in there that I forgot to add to the logbook. So sorry about that.
That's why I made it 10, because I counted you. Nice. Awards chair. Who's doing double duty as the secretary tonight?
Yes, I am. So we have one submission this month. You know. Thank you. We have one submission. We have.
Okay.
We have one submission this month for awards. Sonali, we have submitted for her for a master, not observing award, but an outreach award. So hopefully we'll have that to give out next month. That's all we have to report.
Which reminds me to turn in my observing, my outreach stuff too. Keep telling myself to do that.
Not like you
Oh.
got too far to go.
Yes. Observing chair. Okay, I need to do, let's see. Pop out of here. Go into here. Can you still see it at home?
Okay, so come September, we have the planets in the evening. Saturn is past opposition, but still looks great in the sky. And Jupiter has its opposition September 26th. Great target for the evening. Mercury's visible, sort of. It's really low in the western horizon. Neptune is opposition September 6th, and you can actually find Neptune and Uranus with binoculars in a dark sky. So that would be something to look for. Venus is bright in the morning, and Mars rises about close to midnight. So you can watch the planets all parade across the sky if you stay up all night pretty much. Next. We have full moon on the 10th and the new moon on the 25th of September, and it's fall. And so we have autumn equinox on September 22nd. And something that happens, and I don't know how if anyone's seen it, I haven't, is the zodiacal light, which if you see early in the morning in the east, it's like a cone of light that you'll see in the sky, at least per description. And it's basically sunlight reflecting off meteorite dust. Anyone? I sound like Ferris Bueller's. Oh, you've seen it. Okay. I thought I was going to sound like Ferris Bueller's Day Off here, but. And I think that's about it.
Thank you. So much on the computer. Oh, the text is so small on this. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I copied out of the newsletter. I should 3D print a stand for this little lavalier so I don't have to keep moving it.
So is Moderson, is he on or is he?
He joined briefly.
Brian briefly.
Finding him out. But I have some slides for him too.
Okay, yeah, because you can talk about the,
Oh, is
so we can't speak negatively about him. I wouldn't, because I am very positive that
I wouldn't speak negative anyway, it's being recorded.
he probably would check. But no, Mike is just, he's really something. Anyway, for those new or haven't met me, my name is John Johnson. I and the fellow we were speaking of, Mike Moderson, who's out climbing a mountain in Colorado, are what we call co-chairs of the outreach program for Omaha Astronomical Society. And we're back in pretty well full swing, almost to the point where I cringe and I see all these, requests come in and everything. And I have this passion in my heart to try to get out there and help them all, but we need volunteers to do that. Of course, on the screen are the ones, the normal routine ones we run into. If those of you that cannot see it, I'll try to read. We'll start off with this next, a week from tonight, Friday the 9th. Millard Schools is having a nature night out at Schramm Park. And they want us to set up actually in Schramm Park. Now, some of you may have helped Mike do one back in June. It's the same organization. It's the Douglas County, Sarpy County 4-H Extension Service that puts these on. I think they had one back in June. Is anybody here that went to that one back in June? It was at the old 4-H camp there. But this one to whatever logistics reasons, they want to hold it down at Schramm Park. Now, when I was talking with the guy, I said, well, we've tried to have events down there at Schramm Park before, and there's a lot of light issues down there with street light or parking lot lights. And he said, well, they will set up wherever we think is best. So we'll see. But yes.
There's also a brand new big bright light over the parking lot where we tried to set up.
Well, that was one of the reasons that we couldn't get anything turned off up there at the 4-H, where the old 4-H camp was. Right, but this is going to be down, instead of doing that left turn where it says Eastern Nebraska 4-H, you go another quarter mile and you're at Schramm Park. I will be sending out emails there again. As I said in an email here a couple weeks ago, I've just picked the list that we send the newsletters out, and everybody gets spammed with the emails. If you don't want to see them, you're more than happy to return an email to me and I'll take you off that outreach list. But otherwise, I don't know how else to get the word out to everybody. So check your emails frequently, because I'll be putting out updates, and especially when we have an issue where is it going to be clear? Is it not going to be clear? I don't know how else. I will try to put stuff out on Discord, but Discord for me is just still kind of a mystery. I haven't quite caught on to how to use Discord properly. Mike, I think, will pick up that slack for sure. And then, well, he would. He's very good. In fact, he told me, yeah, he says, he goes to Discord first when putting stuff out. I'm just too old, I guess, too old dog to learn all these new tricks. But okay, Saturday night, the 10th, is Lawrence Gardens again, the same routine as we've had a couple other events down there. That's always a great time, very relaxed. They have no more than 20, 25 members that show up, and we get about an hour, hour and a half with them. And there again, I'll send an email out asking for names for volunteers for that event there on Saturday, the 10th. And then obviously the following Tuesday, September 13th, will be our second Tuesday of the month's public star party out at Lake Zarinsky. Good time of year if the weather, if the clouds cooperate, should be cooling off, and maybe the mosquitoes won't be as bad, but always think about that when you're heading out to any of these events. If you're susceptible to mosquitoes, bring your mosquito repellent. And then we're going to do our last Mahoney Star Party on Friday, the 16th of September. And they're again starting about 7:30. We've had a couple of those that went pretty well this summer. And that'll be the last one there. Just remember, if you're going out there, you either have to have the annual park permit, or you have to have the $6 per day permit. At least you're supposed to. I'll leave it at that. And then on the 22nd of September, we, is that mine? Just shut it off. I'm sorry. On the September 22nd, this is one I hesitated, because this lady has been trying to have something for her school group, the St. Matthew's Parochial School, middle school. And they're going to have it out at Camp Kitaki, which is on the west side of the Platte River. And if you're going out I-80, instead of turning right to like Mahoney, turn left, you go back across the interstate, and it's about 5 or 6 miles on down the road there. You go by the little town of South Bend and then up a ways, and there's a YMCA camp there. Is that one on there?
No. Not on this screen.
He missed it. Steve, you missed that one. Oh, no, you missed it. Yeah, Steve got it. That's what I'm reading. Yeah, Steve got it. It was a late thing, and my mistake. I probably just sent it to Steve, but Steve caught. Yes, there was. I thought I copied you, but in September 22nd. Now, is that all that we had up there, or what I had? Oh, well, let's do that one, and then we'll turn the lights on and we'll talk about Pavilion La Vista. This is actually going to be in October, but it will be before our October meeting. So Mike Moderson is really kind of pushing this event, and I think it'd be a great idea. It's called International Observe the Moon Night event, Saturday, October 1st. We're still kicking around ideas about maybe having several locations around the metro area where 2 or 3 of us set up our telescopes, just like the old sidewalk astronomy that, well, we've talked John Dobson. He's the one that started that out in San Francisco many, many, many years ago. There again, all these are conditioned on weather. NASA's really pushing it. And of course, you know why they're really pushing it.
Yeah.
Artemis is supposed to fly tomorrow afternoon, right? If everything works. It'll be first quarter moon. It'll be ideal for showing the public the moon. Louis.
I did observe the moon night for OAS 5 or 6 years ago up on the Bob Carey Bridge and just had a great time.
We had it's been at least probably 6 years ago,
It's
but
been a while. They
but-
do this every year. I just haven't gotten back.
yeah,
It was a great time.
we've been there before. Okay, that's the ones that we're showing now. Yes, lighten it up. I have a sign-up sheet here with all these Papillion La Vista events. They are being held out at Camp Carol Joy Halling, which is a Lutheran-based camp between Ashland and the Sac Museum. There's signs that point you how to get there and everything. Quite a few of us have been out there because they were out there last year. For those new to the club or yes, I think Papillion La Vista is one of the few school districts that really try to do an outdoor education program for their 6th grade elementary kids. They bus them all the way out from the various elementary schools in the Papillion La Vista area. Historically, they did it at the 4-H Center south of Gretna, where they actually kept the kids overnight and made it much more ideal for us to do an astronomy program because we could go later in the evening. Of course, there was a year or two they didn't have it, and then last year they tried, well, for historical reasons, the 4-H camp closed down. I don't want to go into that, but it's closed. It's no more. So they were trying to find another spot, and they decided that they could hold it out at this Camp Carol Joy Halling, about the same distance out of town for everybody, but they cannot stay overnight. There again, many reasons, I won't go into why, but the kids have to be basically back on a bus, back into town around 9 p.m. So we get about an hour and a half at the most with them. Now, as the days get shorter, as we move on into September and October, we will probably move up that start time. So we'll get a little more time with them. But the lady that's in charge of this has been doing it for probably 25, 30 years now, at least 20. She's a sweet gal, just tries her hardest to make this happen. And so it's tough to turn her down. She's that persuasive. So we're trying to do what we can. I've got the sign-up sheet. I will pass it around. I'll pass a pin on it. Try to look through the list and see how many dates, if any of you could sign up for 2 times, that would really help us. And some of us I know have the passion to get out there more often, and that's great. I'm never going to turn anybody down. I do like to know if you're coming so we can kind of plan accordingly. Because if there's a, right, 10 people on one night and 2 on the next. And as we just talked, there is the Astronomical Elite Outreach Award. It's probably one of the easiest awards to get. If you do 10 hours, which means we call these 2-hour sessions. So if you do 5 of these, you qualify for the first level of the Astronomical League Outreach Award. And it's very easy to do. You get on, there's a spreadsheet. You can just go online and fill out this spreadsheet, send it to Kelly, and lo and behold, you get a nice certificate, and I think you get a pen even for the first level. So it's, besides that, gives you a good feeling. I mean, John's been out both nights, Bill's been out both nights, Stafford was out. Let's see, who else is here? Oh, yeah. You know, you put up with some of the kids. They're sixth graders. Kids are kids, but it's that one or two that, you know, they really are excited. They maybe come back and they look again. Yes, and like I said, if we get 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 15 of those interested in well, ideally astronomy and pursuing it even as a hobby or as a career, then we feel we've done our due diligence. Yes.
It was a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, a sixth grade teacher at the Papillion La Vista, who was there, talked about having been a sixth grader and doing that, and how it was just so amazing to her to see through a telescope for the first time. So we have teachers who now have students who went through as students, and it was always memorable to them. And we do it every night for what, like 8 weeks or
Mhm.
more. The kids see it
They get one
night.
shot there, yeah.
They get one night with us. So
And we almost got wiped out with clouds. They cleared enough, and I think everybody got to see the moon, and some got to see Saturn even Wednesday night.
There were a couple of the assistant high school girls out there.
That's right. They
who
did
also
mhm,
went through the program
at sixth graders. So
They were telling us about coming out.
so anyway,
Can you talk about how easy it is to do?
it is. You don't have to have a telescope. If you want to come out, you can bring, if you have a pair of binoculars, or if you don't have anything, just let us know and I'll throw an extra telescope or an extra pair of binoculars on a tripod. Just come out and enjoy the experience.
Like targets right now, you've got Saturn and the moon and
Jupiter will be within a few weeks. Yeah.
But it's fairly.
But I was, you know, the last group we had there Wednesday night, it cleared off and it was getting dark enough to see the Big Dipper. Of course, you whip out your laser pointer and they all go, "Wow!" You know. But I pointed out, see, there's that middle star in the handle of the Big Dipper. Can you see that little tiny star right above it? And most of the kids who usually have good eyesight can. And if those of you aren't from that, you know, that middle star, it's called Mizar and Alcor, and you can see Alcor with the unaided eye if you got good eyesight. You put a telescope on it. Here's Alcor sitting up here, and here's Mizar is actually a double star, and there's usually 1 or 2 other stars, and that gives them that sense of magnification and how light. So you don't need a telescope. Just come out and enjoy it. It's a good way to meet other members of the club, and because we hang around. Yeah, Bill.
Knowledge, it doesn't matter. If you know a little bit about what you're looking at, you're an expert.
You know, just coming out and listening to other
Yeah.
members speak, then you pick it up from that too. So
If you can find the Big Dipper, I'll give you one of my lasers and you can point out the Big Dipper and tell them how to find the North Star from the Big Dipper. I think okay, enough time. Here's the setup list. You can, okay. All right, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, yes, George.
20 years in middle school teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, 20 years going to outdoor education at East Millard North Middle School on 139th Center. Didn't know about your program.
I was thinking.
And we went overnight.
Wow.
Did you know Steve Skinner?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a member of the club.
Yeah, he's at the high school. though.
He was at high school.
The Miller South High School, probably my wife. I haven't seen him in years.
Well, and that's, you know, I mean,
Trying to get more work.
yeah. Well, over the years, I don't know. I have tried different times at the high school level with Millard and never gotten much other than until Steve, well, Steve then retired, but I've done some middle schools in the Elkhorn School District. The logistics of doing something like this, as you probably well know, is almost overwhelming for most schools.
You know, we set the program up with the teachers in the building, we set the program up where we were out there.
Mhm.
It was up to us, the district really gave us permission to go, but other than that, we set our whole program.
Mhm.
up. It's unfortunate we didn't know much, but like I said, I have no idea if the program exists, I've been retired for 13 years now.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if they do. Where did you usually go with them?
We went to the Methodist Church camp on the Platte River right outside Fremont.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And then we went to the YMC camp on,
Camp Kataki.
yes.
Yeah. Well, we've done program, well, like I said, with the whole pandemic thing, everything just, and we're trying to rebuild. Like I said, this group from this St. Matthews, they had tried, well, she got hold of me last spring and it was, she gave me like 2 days notice. I said, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to give me at least a week to try to get emails out and get people. They usually go over there. Of course, with the 4-H camp gone, that's it's a big loss. We've done programs out at, there's a couple church-related camps out there south of Fremont, Calvin Crest and River Crest, and yeah. And then, of course, scouting. I mean, we've done programs out there for the scouts many times. Yeah, yeah. Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, thank you. Are you gonna do that? Yeah, I mean, I know somewhat what's going on, and it's taken off like gangbusters.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful response. On this past Sunday, we had Waterloo Days to support the library in Waterloo. And Mike printed up these signs and placed them at set distances so students, or kids and adults could do a solar system walk where they'd go to each sign to see what the relative distances were. We also repeated this on Monday night out at PLV. So we spent Saturday night gluing these to signs, some spray glue. But here's the event for the Agnes Robinson Waterloo Public Library. The first 2 telescopes have been delivered. So that's what they look like. The lower left. It was an evening of filming and modifying telescopes. So coming up on the 10th of September, 10 to 4, there is going to be a telescope prep day at 1902 Howard Street downtown at the Brain Exchange. So we're going to be modifying telescopes and everything then. So if you can make it, that would be great. We also last week went to the Quasar Drive-In where they were showing Spaceballs. Yes, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. How about, is that better? Okay. But yeah, there's the drive-in. We had a number of scopes out there. The owner came out and was looking through scopes. He was an interesting gentleman. The movie was fun too. So I guess it was free admission night on Thursday that night.
Was it well attended? Did they have a lot of cars?
They had a lot of cars, yeah. They said though it was not as busy as usual because all the kids have gone back to school. So their attendance had been down on Thursday. I think that's why they were doing it as a free admission. It's north of Valley. So what highway is that? It's not
On Highway 36. going-
36. Yeah. It's just as you drive out Highway 36 going towards Fremont, there's just a big open field with the screen, and you've got horizon all the way around you when you're looking. The only time it wasn't fun is when the movie got over and they turned the lights on. But we got to see some good views. These are the upcoming library telescopes. I got to stop by Bennington and pick up theirs. But I just added Bellevue today. So it is moving right along. Avoca. The word must be getting around. Oh, there's Monday's event. Yeah. That's the usual speech to the students. Don't grab the telescopes, please. We'll handle that, no problem. All right. Stafford, do you want me to bring this to you? Are you able to read that though? I didn't update it.
I could always slide over the table, I guess.
Well, I could sit with you.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, you look comfy there, John. Anyway, I initially thought there was going to be no activity until Monday. We had the 8-inch got checked out. And the 4-inch refractor came back in just right before the meeting started. So they're available, or that's available again. And that's really about it for this month. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Got it?
Yep. I did a little bit in the what you can do. So yes, these scopes are available for checkout. Usually, was it 90 days, right?
90 days, 3 months.
Yeah. But there are different types. There's reflectors, refractors. There's some catadioptrics. We have a few. Let's see. Program teas. Is Jordan in there? Oh. That's right. She sent me a link to a video about the size of a stars, like what's the biggest star there is. So we'll watch that momentarily. Oh yeah, the fan shop. Oop, I did that already. Is there any NSP items that people want to share about the event?
Well, we had, that's what we had 308 freshmen, right?
308 people?
Didn't show, we had about 25, I don't think, people hear me, or you want me to come up there?
Probably ought to go out. They can't hear it.
Online.
I can hear.
Yeah, we had our wrap-up meeting last Sunday of the committee. And there again, for those of you, what we're talking about is the annual Nebraska Star Party, which many of us are also on that planning committee and go to the Star Party that we put on up there at the Merritt Reservoir State Recreation Area south of Valentine. It is an ideal spot to go observing truly dark skies. The area is, of course, obviously very sparsely populated, so that's why we go there. But this was our 29th event. Yeah, we had 308 people show up. We had a slate of speakers, probably one of the best slate of speakers we've ever had. We covered all levels. We had a homegrown fella that used to be attend this OAS meeting. And he went on to get his undergraduate here at UNO, I think. And then went on, got his master's and doctorate at University of Colorado. Come on, Adam, yeah. Jensen, I was thinking, but Adam Jensen was his name, is his name. Gave a great talk on his research. And then we had a young lady that I had discovered that lives down in Bentonville that was on, and she we just blew everybody away with her talk. She's not even 13 years old yet, 12 going on 13. And she got up in front of over 100 people there and gave a fabulous talk on what she's doing to learn about astronomy and to educate other people and to promote in the community. And it was just a delight, her and her mom. And then our keynote speaker was a lady that I had been communicating with for about 3 or 4 years. Her name is Diana Hannah-Keenan, and she is the observing editor for Sky and Telescope magazine. And she had actually done research on microquasars. So her talk was, for some, was very, very deep, but it was fascinating. We worked on microquasars, and then she talked about how she got on with Sky and Telescope and has been with them now about 5 years as the observing editor. And since I got the floor, I'm going to make a plug. They're really trying to promote their magazine. You know, if you're familiar with the amateur magazine, or we got 2 major publications that are put out in the United States. Astronomy Magazine, which is run by David Eicher, longtime friend and icon of amateur astronomers. And then Sky and Telescope has been the oldest, have been down the longest. They've gone through some issues over the last 5 years, but they're now part of the American Astronomical Society, a good foundation of support behind them. And they're trying to build circulation. That's what they do. And I think their subscription price now is about $50 a year. And Diana, many of us talked with her, she was trying to get out with the community, the amateur astronomy community, to promote and see what they, and I think to a person, we said, hey, you need to be out there. You need to show your presence. And so that's why I'm up here. I said, hey, we need to support these publications. I've been a subscriber for more years than I want to admit. And they've recently, the number of pages and everything kind of ebbs and flows. Right now, they're back. This is kind of tool time. That's why they're back trying to build the content up to cover many bases. If you're not a subscriber, go pick one up on the news. I know individual price on the news sign is about $8 for a magazine, which seems awfully high anymore, but hey, everything is going up. Their annual subscription, I think, is about $55. And that's one thing I told her. Well, then you need to offer incentive, give someone a break if they do a 2-year or 3-year subscription. And she was going to take that back to the office and talk to the powers to be. But they do have an online presence. And of course, the article that she wrote is online. So anybody can go up and take a look at it. Just go to Sky and Telescope's website. It was a delightful article. Many of us are figured prominently, aren't we, Sonali? Yeah, it was a great article. And for some of our younger attendees, there's Sonali. Yeah. If you look back at it, there's Louis Dorland's tent, and yeah, I think he is. Dave and Isley from the Prairie Astronomy Club, and I'm supposed to be in that one to the right there, but I guess I'm there. Yep. My astronomical lead. No, that was my NSP cap. This
Be
was
so bashful.
That's right. This was an interesting, this was a 3D printed telescope this guy built. I mean, all the parts other than the mirror were, using 3D printer. There was Libby was her name, Elizabeth White. She goes by Libby. She's done online programs for the Explore Scientific Global Star Party site. There's some beautiful shots of up there. So anyway, I plug in Sky and Telescope magazine. Try it. If I've talked to different people, I used to get it, and it seemed like they weren't putting out good articles here, 7 years ago. Well, I think they're back. They have a beginners section now. They call it Beginner's Space. If you want to see it, I have a couple issues, and Diana wrote the one for the October issue there. They also cover a lot of astrophotography in it. Every month, almost every month, they have an article about, most of it's way over my head already, but interesting. So that's my tool time and NSP wrap up. We'll start planning next year. It'll be our 30th anniversary, and yes, that was my last thing. Oh, it hasn't, well, it's not official yet. Okay. So I don't know. The Merritt Reservoir State Recreation Area has been designated as an international dark sky park. The latest from Lincoln is they'll announce it to the world media September 12th. They were going to do it this last Monday, but typical bureaucracy, it didn't happen.
Did you guys lock up?
I think we lost audio.
No, they're not moving neither.
We can hear you.
Is everybody just jumping off now?
Oh no, we're here. Where's everybody else?
It dropped somehow.
You need this?
They knew we were gonna talk about that thing.
They cut it.
So I lost all the connections here at the building. Even the UNO connection here on the desk went out. So, and then Louis lost his connection too. You're back? Okay. Well, we were just doing tool time, talking about NSP. We had a number of good nights out there. Yeah, that too. In our campsite, we actually adopted a spider. We named him DB. DB stands for deranged billionaire. It's from a song. So Louis Dorland. Yes, and guitar. Should we do a break before I play the video? We've been sitting and talking for 50 minutes, so why don't we take a 10-minute break? Okay. Just as you guys came.
Oh, okay, maybe.
A little bit of a jumble on the hosting. I'm no longer a host. John Poole is host. He can make me host again. So let's see. I'm going to find this video real quick.
Gonna make you a host. Hold on one second.
Awesome. Thank you. At least there's another John that has the host. Got to stick together, us Johns. Well, there's a lot of Johns and Mikes in this club. Yeah. When I tell people my middle initial is H. All right. So everybody can see that? Right? Oh. Boop. Okay. I gotta time this so I can turn off the light and then press play. Why don't I press play when we'll figure out the audio? How about that?
Sounds good.
Our sun is pretty big.
Does that sound good? How about online people?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right.
It's so big that about 1 million Earths could fit inside. But how does our life-sustaining ball of plasma compare to some of the giants out there? When you start to think about it, the scale of it all becomes almost incomprehensible. Some stars are 1,000 times larger than our sun. Others are millions of times larger. And the biggest are nearly 10 billion times larger than a sun that's already 1 million times the size of our pale blue dot. Welcome back to Factnominal. Today, we're exploring some of the largest stars in the universe and whether or not they should even exist. Astronomers measure a star from its photosphere, or the outer surface of the star from which light is emitted. They compare the size of the star to our own sun using a term called solar radii. So if you have a star that measures 10 solar radii, that means 10 suns would line up neatly across its diameter. According to theoretical models, a star should max out at 1,500 solar radii. This is mind-numbingly large. Stars that have a big radius of around 648 million miles. If you compare by volume, 800 million suns could fit into a star that big. But we found a couple stars that are even bigger. Up until recently, astronomers thought that the largest observed star was UY Scuti. UY Scuti is a part of the constellation Scutum in our Milky Way galaxy. It's not visible to the naked eye because it sits in a part of the galaxy whose stars are blocked by light from the Milky Way's core. But astronomers found it back in 1860, and it has turned out to be very, very big, nearly 10,000 light years away from Earth. UY Scuti was thought to have a solar radius of 1,700, with a margin of error of about 200. That means about 5 billion suns could fit inside it. UY Scuti has a circumference larger than the orbit of Jupiter around the Sun. It's so big that some hypothetical object traveling at the speed of light would take 7 hours to travel around it. If there was a planet orbiting Scuti, it would have to be over 600 astronomical units away from the massive Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from Earth to our Sun, about 93 million miles. To put into perspective just how far 600 astronomical units is, Pluto is a mere 39 astronomical units away from the Sun. However, recent measurements from the Gaia Space Telescope have thrown a wet blanket on the hype surrounding UY Scuti, revealing that it might only be some 5,000 light-years away, making its solar radius around 755. Still huge, but nothing compared to Stephenson 2-18. In 2021, Stephenson 2-18 took the crown as the largest known star. Like UY Scuti, Stephenson 2-18 is also in the constellation Scutum, but it's a lot farther away, some 19,000 light-years away from Earth. It's part of a cluster of 26 supergiant stars in the region called Stephenson 2, but is brighter, larger, and more of an outlier than any of its brothers and sisters. If the distance of Stephenson 2-18 is accurate, it means it measures in at a whopping 2,150 solar radii. That's 10 billion times the volume of our sun. Its circumference would reach farther than Saturn's orbit around the sun. An object traveling at the speed of light would take 9 hours to make a complete loop around Stephenson 2-18. What's more, Stephenson 2-18 is relatively young and it's still growing. If this is true, then it could be on its way to transitioning into a luminous blue variable star, an incredibly rare type of hypergiant star that occurs when a supergiant ejects its outer layers and becomes incredibly unstable and variable in luminosity, but doesn't quite supernova. Instead, luminous blue variable stars undergo giant outbursts that resemble mini supernovas and are sometimes called supernova imposters. Stephenson 2-18 could also turn into a Wolf-Rayet star. These stars have completely lost their hydrogen and emit about 10 suns worth of material every million years. As their cores collapse, they can either burst into supernovas or condense further into black holes, depending on their masses. One of the most puzzling things about Stephenson 2-18 is its intense luminosity. It's 440,000 times brighter than the sun. This is a number that was thought to be impossible based on the Eddington limit of luminosity, which is around 320,000 times that of our sun. The Eddington limit is basically the maximum luminosity or brightness a star can achieve without bursting apart by balancing itself in a state of hydrostatic equilibrium between the outer force of its radiation and the inward force of its gravity. How can Stephenson 2-18 be so big and so bright, somehow defying the mathematical models of the universe? Before we answer that, let's see how it could get so big in the first place. Stars are born from interstellar dust clouds that can be hundreds of light years in diameter. At first, these clouds are cool and diffuse and consist mostly of hydrogen and helium. Over time, gravity pulls more and more atoms together within the cloud, adding to its mass. If a cloud becomes massive enough, it becomes unstable and undergoes gravitational collapse. As the cloud collapses, it gets hotter and hotter as hydrogen and helium atoms pack tighter together within the core of the cloud. More mass means more gravity, which sucks in more and more cosmic material in a process called accretion. A protostar begins forming. Cloud collapses usually result in hundreds to tens of thousands of stars forming almost simultaneously, creating embedded stellar clusters, basically a bunch of stars still surrounded by the remnants of their mother cloud. There are a few situations that can trigger the gravitational collapse that leads to the birth of stars. Helium and hydrogen aren't enough to collapse a cloud. There needs to be traces of other heavier elements. These can come from the remnants of older stars that have gone supernova and sent shocked matter into the clouds at high speeds. The collision of entire galaxies produce enormous amounts of energy that trigger starburst formations as the gas clouds from each galaxy are squashed into each other. Jets from supermassive black holes have also been proposed as stimulating star formation, injecting energy into the stellar cloud and catalyzing its collapse. Whatever the cause, at a certain point, the atoms within the condensing cloud become so tightly compressed that they're stripped of their electrons, leaving highly charged ions with exposed nuclei. The rapid compression and super high temperatures of these exposed hydrogen and helium nuclei sets off nuclear fusion, which creates a star's fusion plasma generator. Once the star has stopped collapsing in on itself and nuclear fusion is humming within its core, the plasma of the star starts to expand. However, the expansion is counteracted by the star's own gravity, and the plasma is pulled back in. Hydrostatic equilibrium is achieved, which we mentioned earlier, where the star's gravity and its radiation pressure equalize. This results in a more or less stable star. Stars are then maintained by a continuous series of explosions as hydrogen is fused into helium. Our sun fuses a remarkable 620 million tons of hydrogen into helium each second. But how does a star become a giant? One of the factors is the composition and size of the gas cloud that formed the star and the initial size of the protostar. Once a protostar has settled down, it becomes what's known as a main sequence star. These stars can range between 1/3 to 8 times the size of our Sun. Throughout a star's lifetime, it burns through hydrogen as it fuses into helium within its core. In some of the larger main sequence stars, this process is faster because they burn through their hydrogen faster. In smaller stars, it happens more slowly. It can take anywhere from a few million years to a few billion for a star to exhaust its hydrogen supply within its core. Once a star burns through its hydrogen supply, it's left with a bunch of helium. Helium takes a lot more energy and higher temperatures to fuse, which the star doesn't have. So the star begins to actually contract as its hydrostatic equilibrium is thrown off and gravity starts compressing in. When it does, the core is heated up again as more matter is pulled in. Additional hydrogen is sucked in towards the core and creates a shell around the helium center where fusion resumes. Then something called the mirror principle occurs. As the inner core within the shell contracts, the layers outside the shell expand, and the star becomes hundreds of times larger, meaning the core becomes hot enough to start fusing helium to carbon. When this happens, a massive amount of energy is released, ballooning the star into a red giant. This is what will eventually happen to our Sun. However, because the Sun is only a medium-sized star, it would balloon into a red giant, eject most of its gas, and then compress into a white dwarf. Stars that are at least 8 times the size of our Sun can undergo an additional stage, where they become supergiants. If they have enough mass, these large stars can begin fusing their carbon cores into even heavier elements like oxygen, sulfur, and silicon, creating yet even more energy that powers a further expansion, creating some of the largest stars in the universe, stars like Stephenson 2-18. So how can a star like Stephenson 2-18 exist if its luminosity and size seem to exceed the limits proposed through the mathematical equations of the Eddington luminosity limit and stellar evolutionary theory? The first answer is the simplest. We might have gotten the measurements wrong. Calculating the distance and luminosity of a star is pretty complicated. Determining a star's radius requires 2 initial observations: its angular diameter, which is how large it appears from Earth, and its actual distance from Earth. The angular diameter is easy enough to calculate, but determining precisely how far away a star is from Earth is actually very difficult. Interstellar radiation plays with the light from a star as it comes towards us. Also, many giant stars like UY Scuti and Stephenson 2-18 have variable fluctuating luminosities and expel huge amounts of gas, making them tough to see. The light from our own Milky Way galaxy also obscures many stars, again making them tough to see. For nearby stars, astronomers use what's called parallax to determine a star's distance from the Earth. Parallax works like this. Say you're looking out at some trees and distant mountains from the side window of a car as it drives down the road. You'll notice that as you drive along, the trees seem to be moving faster than the mountains in the background. The same thing happens in the sky. Nearby stars seem to move faster across the sky over the course of a year. By taking one measurement of a star's position and then another measurement 6 months later to calculate the star's distance based on its angle. But parallax measurements are only accurate up to a distance of about 400 light years. For more distant stars, astronomers have used the spectral data of the stars we can measure through parallax to figure out 2 elements that can help estimate a distant star's solar radius, luminosity, and temperature. Nearby supergiants tend to have a lower temperature and a red hue, and astronomers take that data and project it onto more distant stars like Stephenson 2-18. In short, it's not the most perfectly accurate system, but it's still pretty effective. So if the measurements are correct, our model of stellar evolution seems incomplete. The answers to why these supergiant stars are so luminous might have to do with a phenomenon called going super Eddington. The Eddington limit is the maximum luminosity a star can achieve while in a state of hydrostatic equilibrium, when there's a balance between its internal pressure radiating outward and the gravitational force pressing against it from the outside. If you remember, any star larger than 1500 solar radii should simply burst into a supernova. But Stephenson 2-18, with its 2150 solar radii, hasn't. However, there are several ways a star can potentially go super Eddington and become even more luminous while still retaining its shape. The first is a theory called atmospheric porosity. It imagines an atmosphere around the star where there are dense regions surrounded by less dense regions. This would basically contain the mass loss of the star to the outer layers, producing more intense luminosity while the denser inner core of the star remains intact. Another explanation has to do with what are called photon bubbles. Photon bubbles are radiation-driven instabilities in the stellar atmosphere. They are proposed to develop within a highly radiated star where the radiation pressure is higher than its internal gas pressure. Basically, these bubbles are capable of transporting photons, light, at faster, more efficient rates and allow massive stars to glow brighter. There's a whole lot of uncertainty regarding the largest stars in the universe. For now, Stephenson 2-18 takes the cake. But as we develop better satellites and are able to look farther into the cosmos with more precision, there seems to be no limit to what we may find. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fact-nominal content.
Ooh, like and subscribe. Wow. Okay, should I do this slow? Close your eyes. Oh. I did not know there was a star bigger than OAS Scooty. I had not heard of that one. When I was doing some stuff in the schools with the kids about stars, we had this big long video like the size of things, and that OAS Scooty was in there. It was always pretty interesting to see. Maybe I could find it real quick if you'd like. Yeah, I'll look, search and find it, and then I'll redo the videos. Okay. Size of the universe. That's it. Okay. Do. All right. Should I mute this side so you're not seeing two of them at the same time? Does it matter? Okay. Hang on. Yeah, that one is too. It's such a cool little video. All right. Shall we do another break before we start the business meeting? What do you think? 5 minutes?
Getting into the politics, it was like.
Test 1, 2. Can you hear me at home?
Yes, we can.
All right, I need to share the screen so you can see it. All right. Oh. It's up there. I was going to look at it, but go ahead. I know where you live. Okay, so business meeting portion. Diana is not here. Kelly's in for Diana. Kelly's out, so I'll be in for Kelly, who's in for Diana. Let's look at our meeting minutes as they are in the Stella. We will review this.
I move to accept them as written.
Okay. Nina, is there a second? Cleat? A motion has been made and seconded to accept the minutes as displayed on the screen. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Sounds good. All right. Let's go to treasurer's report.
There's $573 in dues collected, $50 for the anniversary banquet, a $25 donation for a total of $648.04 in income. Expenditures were $158.24 for Astro Park Lighthouse, $150 for mowing at Astro Park, for a total of $308.24, and the account is 15,165.19. We gained about 6 members last month, Oh, actually, we did gain 6 and we lost 6. Plus another one, well, 6 through deciding not to continue and 1 through passing away. So it stays about the same. I would be there tonight, but I was helping with putting in the flags at Memorial Park from 4 o'clock until 7:30, and I was really exhausted after that and hungry.
Oh, wow.
So I just couldn't make it. I needed to get home, and I decided I would go join from Zoom where I could also eat and drink water. But I'm feeling better now. Anyway, so sorry I'm not there with you.
On the lighthouse expenditure,
Yes,
is that one service or a couple?
that's two. That's two. They said that we didn't pay them before. And I told them I didn't think I got a bill. You know, I didn't, it was the first I knew about. I went back and called them and, you know, asked them about what date those were, just to make sure that we weren't talking about one we'd already paid for. And it wasn't. They said they were called in June to do it, and they went out and did it a couple of days later. And so that was one time, and then they did it again more recently. It's 2 times servicing.
Yeah.
Now, if it needed or not, I don't know.
Well, it looks pretty clean right now.
Should.
I mean, we've had a lot of people out there over summer, so that's good.
They were just there.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
Check that off for my own brain. Vice President's report. I don't think he's in the chat either. Well, I went to Astro Park today. It looks pretty good. Could probably need mowed, but everything looked fine to me. As we heard, it's been serviced for the lighthouse, so that's clean. The road looks all right, which leads up to my other item. Astro Park cleanup happened on August 13th. So Motorson, Kim, and myself arrived early Saturday morning to cut back some trees, trim the tall grasses around the buildings and pads that could not easily be done by the mowing service, and assessed any needed attention. Concentrated on reducing any shrubs and tree branches along the road into the park and the entrance gate. Also, the steps down to the porta potty were cut back and herbicide was applied, and it still looks pretty good today. We worked for about 5 hours, taking breaks to rest and hydrate in the heat and have a snack. Kim brought some oranges. That was very welcome. So these are the after shots from the event. Those pads look pretty good. We did run out of trimmer line at one point, but we got most of it done by then. There was a lot of trimming down the lane going down to Astro Park. Old business. Well, if you've been lying under a rock, you may not have heard about the OAS 60th anniversary. Everybody has here in this room, right? Raise your hand if you've heard about it. Woohoo! Thank you. So the OAS 60th anniversary dinner is coming up next month. We're a month out. Tickets are on sale. They're $25 for each dinner ticket. They can be done in person or to Mike Gallagher or online through the link, which is is.gd/OAS60th. If you have your phone, you could scan that. There's also some sheets up here as well as in the Stella for that information. We are at 27 or 28 tickets so far on that. You heard me talk about the library telescope. Yes, sir. Yep. 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 It is at the German American Society on 120th Street. It'll be 5:30 to 9:30. You can take this with you.
Remind us that it's a buffet.
It is a buffet. There is It's not really like people are not going to bring your plate to you. It's going to be there for you to grab the items as you walk through the buffet line. Omaha Astronomical Society. No, I didn't write it there, but it's the same as on the membership form. Yep. Will you need a ride that night? Okay. October 1st is the last time you can get tickets because we have to notify them that week. Actually, we have to notify them on the 1st, I think. I don't believe so. Mike, do you remember, Gallagher, do you remember if there was a minimum number of people that had to sign up?
No, we didn't discuss them at all.
Okay, because they didn't say anything about it.
I'd have to go back and look at what they said, of course, but which I do have that here, I guess.
Yeah.
Dig through my computer, the agreement. I don't remember that being part of it, though. We did think it was
Okay.
gonna be more than 25, though,
Okay.
when we
That's fine.
discussed it with them.
Our speaker will be Carol Org, the current president of the Astronomical League. They're going to come up and stay the weekend. They're going to be at the Holiday Inn Express. They're near or on 120. Yeah, it's close enough. It's not that far of a drive. Any ideas for that night besides our speaker?
Well, we had a couple of tables with memorabilia, if you want to call it that. I think I brought a October 1982 copy of Sky Telescope.
Oh,
Show you what was hot that year in 1962. I can do that again.
okay.
Old pictures would be nice.
Photos, yeah, on the same table. Okay. It's going to talk to us that way. We can talk about it at the next board meeting too, because that'll be like the final putting together of things. But if anybody has any ideas and want to, yeah. I have a letter somewhere that I wrote the club, I want to say in 1990. When I was a young whippersnapper. I got to try to find it. I think I took a picture of it. Actually, Peggy Walker sent me a copy of some photocopies of the Stella from the 60s and 70s. That's in my pack. I should bring that too. Yes, Tom.
I got
Or
some
Mike.
extra plastic sleeve. Put some of that old delicate stuff in.
I better mark this down here. That's true.
Yeah, pictures from the kids. See who was there and who's no longer there.
Yes, Louis. You were there. I was there. It was a great time. That was my first biggest dinner for OAS ever.
Carol was there.
Really? If I remember, our speaker was from Astronomy Magazine.
It was Michael Backett.
Yeah.
System.
It's like,
Carol gave us a President's Award or something like that for 50th year anniversary.
oh,
I'm pretty sure it's that.
it's in safe hands then.
I said I had it. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I got it. Just like a presidential commendation or something like that. I should hand it over to the current.
I still got the binder. That's pretty good. And the flash drive you gave me with all that stuff on it. Impressive. I've only forgotten it once.
I'll update the list of past presidents, because we need to add one. Or current and past.
Well, there's still another election. Oh, my arm.
Need to talk about that, or has that all been arranged?
About what?
The elections.
I mentioned it. It is next month. So maybe that's new business. Right? So elections next month. I'm running again. Are you? No, you're appointed. John's elected. Mike. Jordan. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Outreach, and then the 4 up.
Let's go to the descriptions for the positions.
Did we finish all this?
Did we? Okay, sorry. No. So, the situation with the library telescope is that it's going very well. We actually had Valentine reach out, which is a truly long distance support. But I think we're kind of in the area once a year. Or more.
Working on getting Mark Erweiler, who lives in O'Neill.
Okay.
Drop it off. Couple.
I gotta drive and pick up the one from Bennington. Theirs came in.
No.
Oh,
NSP or an OAS?
He called me, so I thought it was in his. So, no.
Yeah, we better, we'll take that under NSP.
That's not tonight's business.
No.
I hear nothing.
We're always looking for new talent for NSP.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna start calling him Youngblood. Yeah. I don't want to overload anybody with all the work. We should all be able to help out and even it out and. Oh.
Talk a little bit about the telescope modification then on the 10th to help with my stuff.
Yes, so on the 10th, we're going to do as many modifications as possible. So that is including soldering red dot finders to use the AA batteries instead of the coin cells. So that's good. I'm pretty good with the soldering iron, so I could do that and teach other people to do it too if they would like. You have to remove the cell off the back and change the screws out and then put it back together so that they're not changeable. People can't play with it and then it falls out. And then you have to collimate that too. And then there's, well, where's that picture? Here, I had this originally as a skip. Come on, tablet. So
Where are you doing that?
we're going to do this at 1902 Howard Street, downtown. What's called the AIM Brain Exchange. It's actually where I work. So there's you don't have to pay for parking at the meters. There's plenty of parking around it. Where was the, I thought I also put it in the Stella. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yep. So we've got to modify the telescope. We got to modify the eyepiece so that it cannot be removed. There's little grub screws. Mike has already bought like the nylon nuts and the grub screws, and he has the string that goes on the telescope so that when you take off the cover or the moon port, they stay attached. We actually filmed a whole video series last Saturday night on how to do the modifications. So we're kind of, I'm helping him produce some of it. So technically I'm the producer, like he didn't do that or, but he posted the video of the red dot finder modification. And the guy originally came up with the idea for the program, the library telescope program, liked it. So he was getting some good comments on it. So we didn't get the stickers for the telescopes until the day of Waterloo. So we got them Saturday night and they're vinyl stickers that print on an inkjet. And then you peel them off and you attach them to the telescope. However, my friend Erin, when she printed them, it was on the flip side. So when we pulled it off, it was not the sticky side that had the picture on it. So she was like, ah. So she brought them to us the next day. Yes. So there's a little bit of coordination with that. I did produce a couple manuals because they're essentially beta format manuals. They're not the final version. I just needed something really quick because we were talking to people at the event on Sunday and a lot of people were really interested in it. So I want to have the manual pages laminated, and then you know what a comb binder is? Anybody know what that is? So cut those in there and they're all going to be nice and they fold open and such, and they're not going to fall apart as well. I was using cardstock too to print that, so it took some time.
Comb or plastic, right?
Yeah. It's not like a spiral notebook. It's that could work too, but I think the comb is easier because you can just cut it in half to get like the 4x6, what we're looking for. They don't make, they make A5 sizes, but not A6, which is like 4x6. But all the forums just say, just cut it where you want it to be. And I got loaned the laminator. So the trick is the manual that I got that Mike produced is 16 pages, so double-sided, right? But there's another version of the manual that's been updated that's 32. That's why we didn't want to print too many of the 16 if there's a newer version of the manual that's been produced. So we're still coordinating that part of it. And we'll probably have a decision by the 10th, which is.
I know you're looking at having a physical copy of the manual, but is the manual also accessible online?
One of the stickers says go to omahaastro.com/library. Or is it library telescope? One or the other. It's on the sticker. The page is live on the website, and it also links in the whole librarytelescope.org website. So you can go right to there from that. But each manual has a different cover page based upon the library. So it has like the phone number and the name of the library. So at least the cover page you change, the rest you can do. But our logo is on it. But there's that part of it. Excuse me.
I was just thinking about accessibility and not having to print so many of them.
Yeah. The idea is that there's a waste pouch that goes around the telescope and all the books and stuff go inside. There's a small manual that goes in with it. It's like a little constellation manual, excuse me. So that's sort of like, here's what you need to get started. I did donate the 3rd edition of the Backyard Astronomer's Guide to the Waterloo Library. Since I got the 4th edition, I let them have the 3rd edition. So now they have a big, thick book that people could check out as well. Yeah, it's if we could figure out some kind of a assembly line to do it, because
How many people do you?
we might have 10 scopes. So maybe 5, 6 people.
How many people do you have now?
I have myself and Mike. And Sonali, that's right, you said yes.
Saturday, September 10th.
In the back, yes. Okay. All right, cool. That's fine. I envision it like, if I'm there 10 to 4, people can come in and out based upon their schedules. That way that they're not like sequestered all day if they've got other things to do. So I want Erin to bring her vinyl cutter because I want to see it in action, cutting the labels. I think that'd be kind of cool. It has some AI to figure out where to cut the labels, but when it had that picture of the moon, it kind of went haywire and started to cut out all the craters and stuff. So she had to manually select the label for the moon because it saw all the detail in the picture, John, and it was like, oh, I'm going to cut all this out. So I mean, it's neat that it can figure that out, but that's just a little overzealous from what we need it to be. But yeah, you can see in the picture, the parking is pretty much anything around the building. And there's also parking under here too. This is actually Omaha Symphony parking right there. That's where their offices are. Part of the lease was that they get their own parking. So we don't get to use their parking. Let's see. Does that satisfy old business? I can't read my own writing, darn it. And I was just 10 minutes ago. Elections, thank you. It's so nice, isn't it? Officer descriptions. President officiates monthly meetings. When necessary, calls for board meetings and leads those meetings, along with treasurer, prepares an annual budget. Time requirements per month, half an hour plus. I don't know about that. Vice President, manager of Astro Park, sets agenda for work days, is in contact with groundskeeping provider and the Port a Potty service, officiates in absence of the president. Time requirements per month, half an hour plus occasional trips to Astro Park. Secretary records minutes of meetings and prepares them for submission to Stella editor, presents minutes at the meetings, other tasks as requested. Time requirements per month, 3 hours plus meetings. Treasurer maintains checking account, receives monies for deposit and writes checks as needed, provides monthly report. I don't know why that says it's not spelled right. To Stella editor and to membership at monthly meetings, maintains the club's post office box, keeps database membership and forwards to Stella editor and Astronomical League. 1 hour per day plus meetings. Wow.
That's about right.
Outreach chairs. Keeps a calendar of outreach events and sends out emails and sign up logs in effort to get members to participate. Fields questions from public regarding possibility of outreach events via email and phone calls. Time requirements per month, 10 hours per week.
That's too much.
You think it's not that much? Well, there's 2 of you.
Well, I guess both of us, it depends on.
Yeah. Program chair solicits members to provide programs during meetings, updates Stella editor with program information, buys door prizes for our holiday gala. Time requirements per month, half an hour per month. Those are the elected positions as they will be next month. I'm running again unless someone's going to run against me. You have your choice.
You mean if somebody runs against you, you won't run?
I'll run. That's why I said you'll have your choice. Called the runoff. Count your Chads. Sorry, that's bringing back some bad memories from 2000, doesn't it? Besides Y2K. Yeah. Mentioned elections. Any other items that people would like to talk about for the rest of the 25 minutes? Yep. The 7th and then the banquet. So we have to have elections on the 7th. That's in our bylaws. And then we'll have the dinner. So Carol and Betty should be here for the meeting on Friday night, I believe, right? Well, because they've got both Friday and Saturday night at the, because I thought that she told Jody, Betty told Jody that they'd be up for the meeting. So maybe they'll bring Jody.
We have to dress up for the meeting then?
Not for the meeting. I can wear, put on a straw hat for the election. I'm not kissing any babies. What's that? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's business casual or semi-formal, however you want to interpret that. I didn't say formal. I'm not going to wear my tux, so. Sport jacket. That's semi-formal, right? I mean, I mean, people wear jeans to the symphony, right? No, I'm not going to make it do that. That's not. Red face. No, wear whatever you want. Wherever. It'll be a nice evening. And everybody have a great time. And I hope we can get some good laughs out of it too. I will not write a stand-up set. I've been improvising the whole night. Yes, Sonali. You raised your hand with a question. Oh, okay. Yes.
Where nonprofit, if so, German American Society will not charge sales tax, not the board.
We are a nonprofit. We are a 501c3. All right. Mike, did you hear that?
I did.
Nice. All right. I think we've got to probably give them a form. I'm trying to remember what form that is.
I don't know.
Your EIN on it,
It's like it's 1095 or 10.
yeah.
It's something like that. We had to always hand them out at AIM for that stuff. Do you have a shortcut card? Oh.
It should be. Should be in the treasurer's.
See, Bill. Is there a second? Rita. A motion has been made and seconded to adjourn the business meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. Now you can free to talk. But I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you.
I owe you a call.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Before I stop the recording, get the sound.